Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I wanted to do a comparison between two very similar pairs of shoes. So the first pair are the Hangisi Pumps from Manolo Blahnik, and I'll be comparing these shoes to the Jimmy Choo Bing Mules. So between these two pairs of shoes, the first pair that I bought were the Hangisi Pumps from Manolo Blahnik. And when I was trying to decide if I wanted to also pick up these Bing Mules from Jimmy Choo, I was looking on YouTube to find a comparison between these two pairs of shoes because they are quite similar in that they're both on the dressier side, but I couldn't find a comparison like that. So I hope this video is helpful for you guys. So let's get into this video. Now the Hangisi Pumps from Manolo Blahnik have been around for quite a long time, so they're available in a wide variety of materials and colors, and I think by far the most popular or most common ones are the ones in the satin fabric, and those come in such a large array of very pretty bright colors, especially jewel tone colors. Those look really nice. And these shoes are also available in a lame fabric, sort of like the one that I have right here. They're also available in velvet. You can get ones in lace. And I also saw one that was in a white calf leather. And that was the first time that I saw a pair of these Hangisi Pumps in a leather material. So hopefully they're going to expand that portion of it because I would definitely love to have a pair in leather. And they're available in so many different heel heights also. So they're available in a flat style. You can get a 30mm heel, then there's 50mm, the 70mm one, which is the one that I have here, as well as the highest heel height is 105mm. And if you like this Hangisi style of shoe with this crystal buckle at the front, but you wanted it in a mule style, they do offer the mules in flats as well as a 70mm heel. As for the Jimmy Choo Bing Mules, you can get them in either suede or patent leather. So compared to the Hangisi Pumps, those are definitely available in way more options when it comes to materials. But if you really wanted it in leather instead of a fabric option, then this is probably the way to go. And this pair of shoes is available in a flat style, or if you wanted it in a heel, you could get it in 65mm or 100mm. So my specific pair is in this gray suede in the 100mm heel height. And most of these shoes in the patent leather does come with 3 rows of crystals on the strap here. But this pair actually replaces the middle row of crystals with a row of fake gray pearls. So I really like how this just changes it up a little bit, so there's a little bit of contrast, but it still does sparkle a lot. So when you compare the original retail prices for both of these styles of shoes, they're actually quite similar. So for the Hangisi Pumps, the satin pairs are $995 originally, and if you get the flats or the mules, they're a little bit less. And if you wanted it in a lace material or this type of lame fabric or velvet, for example, those cost a little bit over $1,000. As for these Bing Mules, the ones that have the 3 rows of crystals are $950, and the ones that are like the one that I have, which has the row of the fake pearls, these are $995. So when you look at the original prices of these two, they're quite similar, but the difference happens when you think about the discounts that you can get for these two pairs of shoes. So for this pair specifically, this retailed for $1,025, and I was able to get this for 15% off. As for these Bing Mules, these were $995 originally, and I got these for 25% off. So between these two pairs of shoes, the Manolo Blahnik ones, I found that it is increasingly harder to find these on sale. They're usually excluded from discounts, and during the end of season sales, it's kind of hard to get the more staple colors on sale. It's usually the ones that are very seasonal that you can get on sale, versus this one, I find that it's usually included in discount codes, and they are also included in end of season sales also. So the specific pair that I have, I would say is a pretty standard type of color. There's nothing that is too bold or unique about it. And this is definitely part of the end of season sales also. So between these two pairs of shoes, if you wanted the, I guess, lower price point, it's probably easier to get this at a lower price if that's something that matters to you. So I definitely wanted to have a portion of this video dedicated to comparing how comfortable these two pairs of shoes are, because when you're buying a pair of shoes, especially at this high of a price tag, you do want them to be comfortable. And I just wanted to put a quick disclaimer here that I haven't actually worn the Jimmy Choo shoes out of the house yet. I'll get to that in a little bit, but as for these Hangisi pumps from Manolo Blahnik, this is actually on my list of the most comfortable designer shoes that I own. I have an entire video about those shoes. If you're interested in that, I'll leave it linked up here as well as in the description box below. And before I forget, I have these in a size 36.5. And typically I wear between a 36.5 to 37 or between a 6.5 to 7 in shoes. And these fit me perfectly fine. I do want to mention though that some people say that Manolo Blahnik shoes aren't the best for people with wider feet. And I personally do have wider feet myself and I find them really comfortable. So it might vary from person to person, but I just wanted to mention that for you guys. And since this is in a fabric material, typically fabric materials aren't quite as comfortable as a leather material because it doesn't mold to your feet in the same way. So keep that in mind that if this was in a leather material, it would probably be even more comfortable than this pair is. Now, as I mentioned, I haven't worn this pair of shoes out of the house yet. And the reason is I just purchased these fairly recently over Black Friday, specifically so I could wear it over the holiday season at home. So while I haven't worn these out of the house, I have worn them a decent amount walking around at home. And I do think that they're very comfortable as a pair of mules can be. And I have this in a size 37 and I think it's perfectly fitted for my foot. But if you like your mules to have a little bit of space in the back so it doesn't look like your foot is hanging off the back of the shoe, then it might be a good idea to size up. And as I mentioned, this is kind of as comfortable as a pair of mules can be because I typically don't find mules to be super comfortable because your foot isn't as secure in them compared to pumps. But I think it does help that there is this strap that is higher up on your foot, so it gives it a little bit more stability. And this suede on this pair of shoes is so soft. I really like the suede that Manolo Blahnik does, but I actually think that this might beat that in terms of how comfortable it is. It's not stiff whatsoever. It molds right to your foot on the first time that you wear it. So I really, really like that. I don't think that the patent leather from Jimmy Choo will be quite as comfortable just because of the nature of patent leather, but I still do think that these are quite comfortable in general. I will have to say though that if you're wearing this out of the house, it definitely will be a little bit harder to walk at your normal pace. Once again, because these are mules, and I don't know if I'm the only one that didn't know this, but don't try to wear this pair of shoes with tights because your foot will slip out of the shoe on the first step that you take. I kind of thought that with mules in general, yeah, it's probably not a good idea to wear tights, but I thought that since there was this strap that was a little bit higher up, it would be secure enough, but yeah, that's actually not the case at all. Now, there's no doubt that both of these pairs of shoes are on the dressier side, so the way that I would style both of these shoes are pretty similar, but there are some differences that I wanted to mention. So for this pair of Hangisi pumps from Manolo Blahnik, because of this crystal buckle at the front, it's kind of impossible to hide the sparkle that comes with it. So I wouldn't actually wear this on a day-to-day basis, but I have seen people style this with a structured blazer and a pair of jeans, for example, and it does look very nice. So I don't want to say that it's impossible to style it that way, but just for me personally, I kind of save this for dressy special occasions. And even if I'm wearing like a simple dress, this still amps that up because of how much sparkle you get from this buckle. And I also wanted to mention that you can wear this in the winter with a pair of tights, and that also looks really nice. So it's definitely a pair of shoes that can take you all throughout the year, no matter what season it is. As for this pair of mules from Jimmy Choo, even though the strap over here still does offer quite a bit of sparkle, it's not quite as in your face as the Hangisi Pumps are. Part of the reason is the pair that I have specifically does have this row of pearls over here instead of the crystal, so that does kind of minimize the amount of sparkle a little bit. But I think in general, the placement of the strap just makes it so that it's not as visible. But if you're kind of looking downwards, you do still see the sparkle, so it's not like this is pointless in any way. So between these two pairs of shoes, this is the pair that I'm more likely to wear on a day-to-day basis. But the thing is, I don't really like wearing this pair of shoes with jeans or pants that are like an ankle length, for example, because with pants, it kind of ends around up here, and then with the strap over here, I just think it cuts off my leg really weirdly, and I'm not that tall, so I don't like it when things make me look shorter. The way that I like wearing this pair of shoes is with shorter length dresses or skirts, so anything that is above knee length. Also, as I mentioned, this pair of shoes is not good to wear with tights, so this pair of shoes is definitely not something that you can wear year round. So if you're looking for a pair of shoes that kind of can take you from a dressy occasion in the summer to one in the winter, then the Manolo Blahnik Hangisi Pumps is probably the better bet. But if you want something that is a little bit more fashion forward but still has classic elements to it, then I think this pair of shoes is the way to go, because as I mentioned, the Hangisi Pumps have been around for so long, and I definitely do see that pair of shoes around a lot. I personally haven't seen this pair of shoes out on the streets a single time. Maybe that will change once everything returns back to normal, but as of right now, I think that if you wanted something that is more unique and different, then this is the pair of shoes to go with. As for what you can expect for the wear and tear on both of these shoes, as of right now, they're still both perfectly fine. I mean, I haven't had this pair of shoes that long at all, so I wouldn't expect there to be any missing crystals or any wear and tear just from wearing it around the house. But for this pair of Hangisi Pumps, I've owned this for approximately 3 years, I want to say, and I've worn them a decent amount. And aside from the wear on the soles, of course, there's no missing crystals or anything. Luckily, there hasn't been any snags on the fabric either, so I guess that's pretty good for 3 years. But I do want to mention that neither of these shoes come with any spare crystals, so if any of these crystals were to fall off, I feel like you probably would have to take it to either Jimmy Choo or Manolo Blahnik and see if they're willing to replace them or repair the crystals for you. I would say that the suede material is decently carefree. I mean, you still have to be careful not to get it wet, but you can potentially spray some type of suede protectant on it. And if you get it in the patent leather, then it's very carefree. The only thing is if you get it in a lighter color patent leather, then over time it could potentially discolor or yellow, but there's no guarantees about that. So I would say that in general, leather is definitely more carefree than getting a pair of shoes in a fabric material, which is typically what Manolo Blahnik Hangisi Pumps are offered in. Especially if you're going to get it in a satin material, it could get stained easily or snag. So even with this lame fabric, what I've noticed is that because of this buckle at the front, sometimes it'll get caught on this fabric over here, and I'll kind of hear it like rubbing together. I don't think that there's been any snagging so far. Even if there was, it's not that visible on this black color, but if you were to get the satin one, because of that kind of like smooth, sheeny look to it, it would be more visible if there were any snags on it. So just keep that in mind. It is a little bit delicate in terms of the fabric. And I think similarly, if you were to get the lace ones, those could snag pretty easily too. But I would say that the lame fabric or the velvet ones would be your best bet in terms of the fabric materials, and hopefully they come out with more of the leather ones. So that would probably be something that would compete more directly with the Jimmy Choo Bing Mules. So that is it for this video comparing the Jimmy Choo Bing Mules to the Manolo Blahnik Hangisi Pumps. And I really hope that this video was helpful for you guys if you're trying to decide between one shoe or the other, or maybe you have one and you're deciding if it's worth it to add the other one to your collection. And I wanted to leave my opinion of which of these two pairs of shoes I prefer to the end, because what I want might not necessarily be what you want. So first of all, I don't think you need both of these pairs of shoes. If it wasn't for the fact that I wanted a pair to wear for the holidays at home, I probably wouldn't have bought the Jimmy Choo ones. And between the two, I do prefer the Manolo Blahnik Hangisi Pumps because they are more classic and they're more comfortable in the sense that I could wear them with tights and it's perfectly fine, and I don't have to worry about the shoes sliding off my feet. Plus, I can wear them in the winter, which definitely is a big plus for me because in the summer, I do try to wear sandals if I can for dressier occasions. So I do want a pair of shoes like this to be wearable in the winter also. So yeah, because of those reasons, I personally do prefer the Hangisi Pumps, but it might be totally different for you guys. So I would love to know, between these two pairs of shoes, which do you prefer? Let me know down in the comments below. And if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do consider subscribing for new videos every single week. And I'll leave 2 videos up on the screen for you to watch next. So I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.